And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our football segment of episode 221 of the SplashCast Monday Night Raw. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Send all, copy all, reply all, forward all. We appreciate it.
Whoa, because we all work jobs and most of us have pretty good jobs. Do not reply all. Because I'm going to tell you, if I see you reply all at work, we going to make jokes about it. And the people at the job that not supposed to ever hear from you, they're on the reply all. Also, shout out to Ryan. Thank you for sending it to the folks.
Yes, sir.
I be talking bad about y'all on team. You see this clown reply all to the CEO? You idiot.
Oh, I have a story for that. Nope. I'll tell y'all offline. Debrief. With that being said,
post-production.
They got to learn discernment, man. We're back with our football segment of episode 221 of SplashCast. We're going to start out with NCAA football. We have more money being spent, which I am going to introduce the topic first. I'm not going to talk first. And then I'm going to tell you, I told you so. SMU has raised another $50 million. 4 families combined to donate $50 million to the SMU Athlete Benefit Fund through the Mustang Partners Booster Club. This is a significant contribution designated for scholarships and NIL advancement, as well as revenue sharing, and provide direct support to SMU athletes. Let's just stop right there and scratch out the word scholarships. That is straight NIL money to the current players.
Salary.
Yes.
Let me check off a couple boxes here. Salary. This is on the heels of, remember, SMU just got moved up, and that's after they raised $100 million in about 5 days to buy themselves out of their last conference and join the ACC. Then you come in now. Last year, you can't raise the $100 million every year. What it seems like is they're gonna have boom or bust. So this year they raised a $50 million and they right back in it. It has been proven that if you can raise the money, as we talked about Texas Tech last year, it seems like you can buy your way into the conversation. And I know that everybody don't like it, but the NCAA could have paid players, so this is where it is. It is also Dallas, and we know that Dallas is oil money, and all of this together seems interesting.
SMU is the original pay to play. Like, these are godfathers. We wrote the book, and now y'all legalized the book that we wrote. Like, first off, I'm gonna let you know right now, this is not $50 million. This is actually going to turn into $100 million. Alongside this donation, the same 4 families launched something called the Boulevard Society. It's funny you bring up Texas Tech, because Texas Tech and the billionaire that they profiled did the exact same thing in NIL. And the initiative is aimed at further bolstering the university's athletic resources. So what they're trying to do is double it and get to $100 million by the end of the year. And they're trying to then establish themselves alongside the Mustang Partners of being the Boulevard Society to raise $100 million per year for SMU. So that whole thing of year on, year off, no, they doubling up, big dog.
Right. This is a power play, and the rest of you guys, I mean, SMU, they got money, but they ain't the only people with money. The rest of y'all could have done this too. It's a lot of y'all that's really embarrassing that have just kind of been looking around, trying to not do nothing, and you're just gonna let SMU and Texas Tech buy themselves right to the top, and you're gonna be looking like Boo Boo the Fool.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I told y'all, and this is where Reggie says, I told y'all. I told you so. As soon as NIL happened, it is literally, there's a whole episode when they did this where I said the state of Texas is going to take this over. I literally said that, and everybody was like,
okay, you're right about that, but as much as Texas can do this, so can California.
Yeah, but Texas has multiple schools that can do this. So you have Texas Tech that's going to do this. You're going to have in Texas, oil money and California money a little bit different. to me, because Texas don't have no state tax. Right? So they're not paying any money when they give these people. It's more money that they're getting versus going to California.
Your dollars are stronger because you're not paying the tax. But also we're also talking to people who have the best lawyers and accountants in the world. Let's be real here. The money is all funny.
And
dress it up and make it real.
You saying, Texas Tech. I mean, look at Eastern Texas, San Antonio, whatever, Texas El Paso. They just bought some. Yeah, Texas San Antonio and Texas El Paso. Just put a bunch of money into that.
Right.
Just put a bunch of money into that. Texas A&M made the playoff by buying they bought rosters. They did it before. Right. They did it too early with Jimbo. And Jimbo probably sitting there like,
And they spent that $100 million on Jimbo, and then it was like, no, this is too much. And now that's the cost.
Going rate.
Right.
The funny thing about this is, like everybody had to figure it out. Well, no, I mean, look at Texas. They made it to the national championship game.
Lambos, baby, Lambos for everybody
on the field. They had Lambos on the field as you walk into the locker room. Bro, I told y'all. Now you're right. Texas.
I want to give these college football players a lot of credit. Y'all's self-control minus University of Georgia has been really impressive. Them UGA boys get in them cars on the weekend. They know where they going, and they home. Where you're going, and you're not going home, brother.
I start arguing. I used to be like, man, they targeting the brothers. They doing all that. They'd be like, yeah, he was going 125 and a 38 and a 35. Right. I'd be like,
in Athens, what do you want me to say? Where are you going 130 miles per hour in Athens? You done drove through Athens.
You can't even blame the system. You could have made it to Atlanta in 30 minutes from Athens going 130 miles an hour. What you want me to say? I can't march for you. I can't put up the fist in the flag. What you want me to do? It is what it is. All right.
Never gave y'all that money.
And they get right on out. And that coach, they got an analyst that just go get the car.
They getting out before Monday too. They got I'm sure they got like a little football team court.
Car the day of. The night of, the analyst went and got the cars and brought them back and put them in the lot. No toll.
Empire filled gassed up and washed.
Vacuum. All right.
How's my car cleaner than when the cops got me?
With that being said, we're gonna move on a little bit to really NFL. First, we're gonna start out with like the team cards, and then I'm gonna parlay that into Falcons focus, and then we'll talk about some trades that happened to play it off. So the NFL has released the report cards, and now the NFL, well, they used to release the report cards. I believe this is the last year they're going to do it. They are getting rid of releasing report cards. The report cards are where they give grades to facilities, coaching, ownership, team management, GMs, everything. They grade everything about an organization from top to bottom and whether you want to play with them or not. And they seem to be very accurate, and the teams that normally suck are normally at the bottom of the list.
And the places that they suck the most, they're typically right.
Yes. But this is this goes hand in hand with the climate that we're in politically here. Exactly, Kev. Where people are no longer having accountability. We have it in politics, we have it in business. Now it's over here in sports, which is also.
I don't think they're afraid of the accountability as much as the transparency. I think that they don't care about being accountable. I think that across the league, the Jets suck, and you know why the Jets suck. I think that they don't like that. We as the fans. We can see that the play, we come to our own assumption, or you'll hear from a player once he's moved on. But for the players there to say, hey, man, this locker room sucks, or when it comes to New York Giants, this field sucks, or when it comes to the New York Jets, this ownership sucks.
Well, I agree with the audience when they say that's one and the same. I think transparency promotes accountability, right? So, for example, Cincinnati was ass for a long time, and they kind of were. And then, if you look at all of their team grades, most of their grades for a long time were really, really bad. Now, of course, they looked up with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins.
Yeah,
But
I don't think the Jets are anywhere near account or ability. Not even in the ballpark.
I think no.
And they also said that Woody Johnson was one of the biggest people to try to get this stomped out.
Exactly. Why?
Yeah.
So you can't, because he don't want it. You can't see it. You can't hold me accountable. That is the MAGA way.
Fool me, can't get fooled again.
So the reason I brought this up, and I said I want to kind of parlay this into the Falcons. The Falcons had got.
Wait. Before we get into that, I do want to get a few comments from NFL players. JJ Watt says the NFL won't let actual players grade the workplace they attend every single day, but they allow third-party grading service to display their rankings of players on national television every Sunday night. And he is speaking directly to Pro Football Focus. That is ironic, because that means what's good for the goose is not, in fact, good for the gander. And then
the Falcons just did that and fired the whole staff by getting a third-party person to evaluate.
And then, well, what he's saying is every Sunday night you see when they show each player, they talk about where that person is graded by Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus has nothing to do with the NFL, but you put that into your broadcast. Now, this case, this is actually a report card from people who actually work at this place, and you're going to stop that. That is not lost on him. Then Alvin Kamara goes on to say, what if the players may want to tweet it out at the end of every year? I think that has a very high probability of that happening. I think that will be a great way for them to fight back, as they are continuously kind of pummeled and mistreated because of the large group of players, and they're looking to potentially add another game. You have Cam Jordan that says the NFL is upset that teams have been graded, judged, and coerced to update facilities, training staffs, weight rooms, necessities to keep the modern NFL athlete top tier. So what they want you to do is be elite, but they don't want to give you the resources. And these are from 3 legends. Cam Jordan is a Saints legend. Alvin Kamara is Saint legend. And JJ Watt is the most lovable NFL player of all time.
Hall of Famer.
Right.
So, yeah, that's
this
right.
Ain't from chumps. This ain't from chumps.
And I like it, man. Hopefully this strengthens the union as well. We always talk about the union in terms of basketball, football, and baseball, and hockey. And I think football, because of just the sheer size of the union, is probably there's a lot more opportunities to have chinks in the armor. But when stuff like this happens, this kind of galvanizes the group. So you'll start to see some more negotiations.
I appreciate JJ Watt standing in the gap. Actually, all of these guys, because they're considered elder statesmen. They're not really players. JJ's retired. Alvin Kamara is
kind of out of the firing range too.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, specifically in an organization like this, where they will definitely blackball you, i.e. Colin Kaepernick, etc., for speaking your mind about these type of things. You got guys who are essentially untouchable. Alvin Kamara is on the other side of his career. Cam Jordan is a Saints legend. There's nothing you can do to him. He's going to leave on his own time. And I think that is a responsibility to specifically all really older, accomplished athletes, but specifically in the NFL, where you can't do a whole lot of talking because they'll make you disappear, that you guys got to stand up. And I think, and I'm going to say this, it needs to come from the quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, this would be a great time for you to say something. Tom Brady, this would be a great time for you to say something. Drew Brees, it would be a great time for you to say something. Ben Roethlisberger, shut the hell up.
Ironically, the quarterback that probably speaks out the most against the things that owners are doing from a union negotiation standpoint in the recent history has been Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He used to be on McAfee saying this was a terrible deal. This does nothing for the players that are at the bottom of the roster, mid roster, trying to make the team practice squad. This just gives me more money.
Right.
So you're right, man. You definitely need more output from all of the legends. With that being said, all right, so we got the Falcons card. Falcons card, real quick. I'll kind of summarize it. The best things that we had were, of course, the nutritionists, dietitians, training, the training staff, and strength coaches have always been pretty much up there. Position coaches, team travel, team ownership. Arthur Blank is very well thought of. The general manager and, ironically, the head coach got a B plus. But of course, our worst grades is home game field and offensive coordinator.
And I think that C minus is an F.
Here's why I'm exasperated. We got a C minus for offensive coordinator. You want to know who was worse?
Who?
The Cleveland Browns. You know who the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator was? Tommy Rees. You know who's the Falcons' new offensive coordinator is?
Big Rees.
Tommy Rees. You know who was the worst team graded? The Cleveland Browns. You know who the head coach was the worst graded coach of this list?
Kevin Stefanski.
Kevin Got Dog Stefanski. Who know who has the worst special teams on this list? The Cleveland Browns. We just hired the worst coaching staff as voted on by everybody's peers.
I take that with a grain of salt because if you go back and look at these report cards, I'm sure Cleveland has been failing as long as they've been giving grades out.
Then why hire them?
I don't think all of it goes back to we think organizationally Cleveland is just terrible. And not we. I'm saying cumulatively the NFL, everybody involved in football, top down. And we have proof because we see how the Milwaukee Bucks are currently being run. So outside of really the Milwaukee Bucks drafting one of the greatest basketball players of all time, they've been run pretty poorly too. So it's consistent that it's Jimmy Haslam. The other part about this is that the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta teams are all about the same. They've all done a really good job with facilities. They've done a really good job with player treatment, all of that. And everybody doesn't have that. And I think sometimes we take that for granted. I know that it's rough. It's I'm going to say it's a fucking fight to be an Atlanta fan for any sports team. Hell, including the Braves. We just got a couple championships. But I do really appreciate that all of these organizations really give an effort because all of these organizations don't. And I know it's not everything that we want all the time, but that's how you get a Jesse Bates. You do these type of things right here. And hopefully, we're able to keep players and grow players. And it takes doing this type of stuff. Now, I don't know what they mean by home game field. I don't know what there isn't to like about the field at Mercedes-Benz.
I don't know. I would probably have to read more in depth to that. And I could probably circle back with y'all during the week about that.
Right.
But for the most part, they've been pretty consistent with just about everything, including special teams coordinator beating the C+. With that being said, before we move on to NFL, we got a couple more things I wanted to highlight. It's been a tough offseason for the Falcons. To say
every offseason is tough.
Not like this one. We factory reset our entire coaching staff, our entire executive staff and coaching staff. We made controversial
last year.
Huh?
You remember last year when our defensive coordinator's kids was calling players?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, but I'm telling you, it's not as worse as this month. Let me finish. So then,
wait, there's more.
Our defensive coordinator or our passing game defensive coordinator leaves to go to Cleveland. We hire a coach that we made a questionable hire at coach again. We shuffled our executive branch. We then bring in an assistant D-line coach after securing our very sought after defensive line coach, who brought in the assistant D-line coach who was fired after 17 days because of legal issues.
You're going to jail.
Not to mention our star rookie defensive end also in legal issues. So y'all please pray for the Falcons.
Jail too.
Big jail. Witness jail. Corroborated stories jail. Falcons are in an uphill battle. Maybe you know how we feel about the juju. Maybe that's why the Braves and the Hawks doing well, because we can't have all three. Nice things. So
one kid gonna act out for sure. And right now it is the Falcons.
Yep. And we also have new jerseys though. We got some new jerseys, red helmets. They get premiered on April 2nd, one day after my birthday. If y'all love me and want to send me something for my birthday, just donate to the SplashCast. That's all I have.
Well, yeah, but y'all need to see, because last time we said we was getting new jerseys and we got FUBU jerseys. And
we definitely, the whole city of Atlanta had FUBU jerseys. The Falcons had them jerseys with the highlighter green outlines.
No, the Hawks. Time. That's the Hawks.
I mean the Hawks. The Falcons had the FUBU jerseys. The Hawks had the highlighter jerseys with the squares that look like a workout mat, right? In the block letters.
Y'all got to show me. But and this is the thing that continuously, as much as all of these organizations do really well with a lot of things, it's when it comes to the things to really represent the city that they do such a good job of missing the mark. It's like they almost try to be like, and I said that on purpose, just the way that I did, that Atlanta and the state of Georgia is rich in beautiful culture and design. And then we go get something that look like, what the right? It's like, who came up with designed by somebody who grew up in Alpharetta.
Yeah.
Cartersville. You know, and it's like, do you not know, like, and Atlanta is home of so many different people who could do a really good job and so creative, and then you just go outsource it to somebody who, that frustrates the life out of me. So I'm not getting excited till I see it. I saw Bijan, I saw some other player reactions. They pay y'all a lot of money. You better react. It's the same way that when my job sends me something, that I'll be like, oh, great, this is beautiful. I don't really believe that, but I need my paycheck to be there when it's going to be there. So I got to act accordingly. So, yeah, that's where I am on that. I'll wait and see, and then I'll see and wait.
Yeah, and y'all know, now moving on, this is my season, draft season. So y'all please be on the lookout. We're not going to get in depth tonight because, I can talk about this for hours. I will be getting back on and kind of going through our draft analysis and combine discussions now that the combine is over. Be on the lookout for TikTok and Instagram live during the day when I have time. We did say that we were going to release a few folks. Tyler Algier is going to be one of them.
We sure he's gone? I ain't gonna lie. Also, I was kind of looking forward to this. Y'all know, basketball, draft, all of that's my thing. Combine, especially the Atlanta Falcons, is Reggie's thing. And I just knew we was finna come in here because I keep seeing, I heard this is the fastest draft class in NFL history.
Oh, we can talk about it. We can do it. I'm ready.
No. I want to give you your time to collect yourself and put this together. But I am, and I'm excited as I'm doing basketball mock drafts. I'm excited to hear what Reggie has to say and prepare us for the Falcons combine and visits and all of this.
Well, combine's already happened, but this is.
I'm talking about combine results, though. I know you have some guys who you saw that you really like. That we're linked
bunch of them. But this is definitely the fact. We are in the midst of evolution, sports evolution. Millennials, Gen X, Gen Z folks, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, y'all ain't really been here long enough to appreciate what you're seeing. But we are seeing the fastest everything every year. the fastest D lineman, the fastest wide receiver, the tall Wimby. Wimby. We are seeing evolution
I
of
want to push
sport.
back a little bit evolution. I think it's more of just a change. Because one thing that I have really been looking at and I haven't been able to quite is yes, people are faster, but their core strength is not what it used to be. If you look at the old NBA players, they used to look like grown men at 22 years old, 23 years old with receding hairlines, and everybody was strong as Karl Malone. We don't have any of those guys anymore. And I think that's why a lot of these guys are injured more. You don't like Jalen Duren would have been a big center, but a relatively normal center in the NBA in the 90s. Now it's like, I mean, they just don't have that level of strength. You know, it ain't a whole lot of biceps in the NBA no more.
Well, it's the evolution of the rules of the game as well. So I mean, you could in the NBA and NFL. I mean, you used to have 260-pound running linebackers and hitting 240-pound running backs.
You're right.
Diablo was 215 because the game has evolved.
Right.
You won't see a giant Ray Lewis. I mean, Tremaine Edmonds is 6'4", 240, and he just got released. Like, and he's not saying he's not bad, but it's just that the game has changed with the way that in basketball, you can't impede progress anymore. Why I got to put on muscle? I just got to get around you. You can't hit me. You can't touch me. In football, you can't jam me at the line. I don't need to be Terrell Owens.
I think that's also the reason we have so many of these soft tissue injuries.
Correct.
Then you look at what's old boy that he played linebacker. He ain't got no neck. I cannot think. He's from Georgia, from the state of Georgia.
Thomas Davis?
Yeah, not Thomas Davis. It'll come to me. But you don't have those type of guys anymore. I'll come up with his name here.
Oh, currently. He went to all
no. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, those type of things. He was never gonna get concussed. not trying to be funny, but that was a big fear of his, is having a concussion. So he paused, worked out his neck every day. And that's a lot of the reason, like, oh yeah, if you don't have that muscle, then yeah. And I think the same thing, if you look at these guys, they're taller. You're right. And it seems like, especially in basketball, you're going to get a new 7-foot Frenchman every day. I don't know how they get all the way to 15 before they start playing basketball, but I guess that's the thing. But it's more of that.
Government experiment, bro. Ain't no way they growing 7 feet to 7 feet from 5 feet in 6 months, and they play at 15.
GMOs.
Government experiment. I told you.
Fair enough. But that's my thing. And y'all know how I typically like the thing behind the thing. I think that's something we should definitely be watching. Is it's a leaner time now in all sports. There's not really a whole lot of sports where you're like, oh, that guy's, brolic.
Not anymore.
It's a thing of the past.
The rules are taking that out. Now, I think you'll see a change once the rules change, because eventually folks are going to get tired of it. But
I think it's going to be very similar. I think it's going to be very similar to how there's an overcorrection of tall people now in sports, where it's like, oh, well, we want smaller guys because they're more skilled. And then you'd be like, well, I'm going to be tall and skilled. Well, little people, they've removed you guys from the game. Yeah.
Baseball. Moving on, man. We're going to go to Houston real quick. Houston has been wheeling and dealing all week. They traded Titus Howard to the Cleveland Browns for a 5th-round pick, I believe. Titus Howard, HBCU legend, Alabama A&M University.
Yep. Oh, well, we did lose Reggie, possibly, at least momentarily. With that being said, I do find it interesting that the Texans have kind of been moving through this offensive line. And that's the reason this deal is a little weird for me for Cleveland, because, last year they traded Laramie Tunsil and they got the the haul of picks, and their offensive line wasn't necessarily great this year, and they have come back and traded this new offensive lineman, and Cleveland's kind of thrilled about getting this offensive lineman and signing him to a 3-year contract. And I'm like, y'all kind of signing their leftovers for a 5th-round pick. I think that the Texans are going to be intentional about finding the guys to protect CJ Stroud. Hopefully that makes them a little bit better. But until then, they're focused on playing 2K, as I like to say. And if this guy's not working, we'll get him out of here. We'll get somebody else in here until we find the right fit. And I think that you should, and you're going to have to consistently do that, specifically when you got a quarterback. And for whatever reason, especially in these last few games, he just wasn't himself. You got to do a job of protecting him and hope that is the answer, is him being a little bit more available to be able to do what he needs to do without having the pressure. Next up, David Montgomery was traded from the Lions. They were considering cutting him, but they were able to come to a trade deal. This is interesting because you got to hope that he doesn't go somewhere and flourish, and he is headed to the Houston Texans to do just that. He was a really good player for the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have found themselves in a rather precarious situation after losing basically all of their assistant coaches, where they're trying to find their mojo back. But this is a casualty and another loss for a team that's trying to find it. And I think that this is a fantastic pickup for the Texans. Does look like Reggie has joined us again.
Yeah, let's go back to Titus Howard real quick. My bad. I don't know what happened. Everything just cut off. My internet cut off. I cycled. I don't know. But Titus Howard, shout out to him. He got traded. So then they got a 5th-round pick, and they ended up using some picks that they already got, and they traded for David Montgomery, who was, I won't say angry, was disgruntled in Detroit. And I won't even say this. I think disgruntled may be too strong a word. I think he just saw the writing on the wall. Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy, kind of like Tyler Algier. He's in the same precarious position. So they made that move. Houston needs CJ Stroud needs a run game. Joe Mixon has been hurt. He needs a run game. You saw it in the playoffs. When you can't run the ball, then they just press man and blitz, and there's nothing you can do. He needs to be able to run play action pass. You're correct. I did hear you say, as I came in, that they are trying to replace all of those great coordinators that they had. I have all the utmost faith in DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco, go look at Ryan Nielsen. Go look at him.
Yeah.
So the you're gonna start seeing more, and this is why I love the draft and around draft time, especially in basketball and football. You're gonna see more and more transactions coming out because there's a lot of veteran players. It's a lot of cap, even though the cap is going up. I think it went up $20 million again. The cap's going up in football and basketball. It's a lot of maneuvering that's going to have to happen.
Yeah, I think it's $300 million in the NFL. And this trade is actually a really good trade for both parties. This allows the Lions to not just let him walk out of their building and not get anything in return. And if you're going to go somewhere, the Houston Texans, for a myriad of reasons, is a great place to be.
And you get to be the workhorse that you are. And again, he's not old. I don't even think he's 30 yet. He might be.
Right.
And
you get to be the workhorse with a competent young quarterback with potentially could be a stable of wide receivers. So it's not like you against the world type of thing, and you got to beat them. You also have a very, very, very good coach and an elite defense. That puts you in all of that means it's spread even. You don't have to be a world beater. You can do your job, and you have a high chance of success,
baby. Exactly. We just need to get 3.5 yards per rush. If you can do that, keep the chains moving. Our defense is going. They got Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and all of those guys. And they all young. They just released Jimmy Ward, and they're gonna keep Bullock on the field. So this team, Houston as well. I can't wait for the rest of the moves that'll start happening. With that being said,
anything else we got for football?
No, that's it. We went through. I did have some combine visits, but again, I'm going to talk about that when the Falcons during the week. Make sure y'all tune in. We're going to take a quick break because I don't know what just happened. I got kicked out. And then we'll be back for basketball. And y'all know that what that is Norwood's. And he will lead the charge there.